Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. It's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, aboxwithnolid, a channel I'm creating to not only delve into the lived realities trauma creates and all of its complexities, but I also want to delve in and explore the mechanics behind these responses so that we can create, the awareness, but also the path to healing and improving the quality of all of our lives. Now, this is the next video in the adoption series. And like I said in the previous one, yes, this one is going to be a little button pushy. And what I want to address today, it is, a couple of videos ago, I posted an adoptee one here on cross-cultural adoption. And it's really brought to the fore how this is playing out on social media. What I want to address in this video. And that is why are adoptees, in the reality of how this world views us, why are we seen as less than? Why, whenever we question why we were adopted or how do we resolve something that has resulted from being adopted, are we immediately seen as less than? You see it. I know many adoptees, you spend enough time on some adoptee forums, you will see. I went to the hospital today, blah, and the doctor and you were just dismissed. And you were literally less than an animal. We get so dehumanized whenever we try to raise things on social media, something that's gone on. I see it so often. Everybody has a friend that's an adoptee, and it's just you that these things have happened to. We get dismissed and dismissed and dismissed. We get, in decades of dealing with government and advocating for greater understanding around adoption, which was the majority of my adult life, you get so many functional statements that they rely upon to shut you down. It's like in the previous video when I went to Forever Family and how viscerally that sets me off, because you can create a whole mountain of research gathered into a submission and have it dismissed, but it's your Forever Family, and all that work is thrown into a paper shredder and ignored. Here in Australia, we had a federal Senate inquiry nationally into forced adoption and a lot of aspects around it. None of the recommendations from that multi-million-dollar inquiry and federal apology and state apologies to boot, none of those recommendations have been implemented. Not one. None of it made a difference. And when we try to address any of this, we are dehumanized. And part of the reason for this is there is this societal assumption that there is something wrong with us, that we did something to not be good enough to be raised with our mother and father, or our family was of such a certain demographic that we were not good enough, and because we come from them, we are not good enough to be part of this society. And an aspect of the fog, which is why a lot of adoptees get so aggressive in defending the structure that there is nothing wrong with being adopted, that they don't admit it, they don't talk about it, is because of this societal view that we are less than. But the thing is we are not. There are so many pathways to a child, to an infant being removed or being relinquished. And none of those pathways did we have any say in the process. None of it. Not one. The things that I've experienced when I've tried to get help and understanding, when I sought help in very desperate times, the things that have been said have been horrific in how I was referred to by, government, by frontline, health, in hospitals and doctors and so forth, and in society. I won't put them on here because simply saying them, there's a likelihood of these videos getting flagged. But I know so many adoptees that get so viscerally dismissed because of this assumption. We see it in movies play out where, they're adopted. This is excuse of they're less than. They're of course they're going to be screwed up. Of course they're going to do these things because they're adopted. They're not us, our wholly biological family raised people. They're an adopted. That is fed into society so much. And because of the complexities around removal and placement and what society would need to do to even come close to helping or fixing this, it is far easier for society to dismiss. Now, adoption in its original form wasn't created as a good thing. It was created as a conquest thing. You trace the structure that the Western world, or the majority of the world, uses for adoption now back to Rome. The Roman Empire knew that if they took the eldest son, took the children from the lands, the families that they conquered, and brought them into Rome and raised them in a Roman society, that you will, through time, turn them into Romans, send them back, and therefore you're not fighting resistance. You convert that society. Religion has taken that same construct when you look at the missions and residential schools and all these processes. That is the basis that created the understanding of adoption. The laws, the regulations, the physical processes and monetary steps required to have a mechanism such as this. That and all that contains is why it is far easier to dehumanize us, to make what we are stating is not working as less than. And that's what needs to change. Because that same belief filters into the therapeutic areas. And I've spent years trying to educate therapists on how to understand and work with adoptees with very little success. Because of the complexities of what's required to be able to actually heal. It's not that the therapist didn't want to. It's that a single person cannot take a person through this to heal. It takes an ecology. We need to learn how to be part of and how to belong by physically experiencing being part of an ecology that understands and is there to help us, like a family would raising a child that is biologically theirs, because you need to have those biological connections. How do you replace that in an adult ecology is vastly complicated. So it is far easier to dehumanize us and dismiss us and write us off. As sad as that is, I will still make these videos to try to bring the awareness to create change. I do believe there are pathways that we can at least improve the quality of our lives through creating this understanding of what we face. And adoption is so commonplace. You don't realize how many adoptees there are around until you start asking the question. Just in my local supermarket a few years ago, there was 5. As soon as one found out I was adopted, I got bombarded. There was 5 in one small supermarket. I'm not completely in the country, but where I live is not a huge town. I know of probably 50 or 60 adoptees within 30 k's or 30 miles of where I live right now. And I don't associate with them. We don't meet up regularly or any none of that sort of stuff. It's not that thing. It's just this is where we are. Please understand of how we're seen and support us as we try to change. Those of us that are trying to change the world's understanding of the complexities of what adoption and removal creates. And on social media and all that, when you see these people, as I said, that cross-cultural video that started these couple of videos, where the guy that's going, I'm the father, I should have I'm raising children, not black children, I'm raising children, blah, 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 blah. His religious rhetoric is a prime example. Everything he says, yeah, is awesome. Blah, blah, all this sort of stuff's really cool. Sounds cool. It's not. Because that child has to live up to that expectation. And the moment that they don't, the moment that they question, they are less than. And when they go for help to try to bridge that, to try to fix it, you're demeaned. You're made less than. It's your fault that it's not working. And that's why suicidality in adoption is so high. The highest in pretty much any demographic. Because there is no societal pathway for us to get the understanding we need to be valued enough for our way to be right. And our way is right. What we're feeling is right. Because we had zero say in what was done to us and what happened to us. None of it. So we are the innocent party. We had no say. We could not voice opposition. We could not participate in any decision-making process. We had no say. It was done to us. We did not choose it. And that's the understanding that the world needs to have, and the world needs to support us in our outrage when we start to try to voice up for change, for understanding, and to stop being dehumanized the way we are and dismissed the way we are when we try to point out what isn't working and what we need to be able to heal. As always, please be mindful, please be respectful. I love your guys' feedback. And I know this video was a little intense, but after decades of desperation of trying to get this understanding across, I'm trying yet again. So please understand that. As always, be kind and gentle and respectful, and I'll see you all next time.